In this video, we're diving into Python file methods. We will learn how to work with files in Python. This code snippet shows basic file operations, demonstrating how to open a file named example.txt in read mode and read its content. Below that are some of the file object methods like read, readline, readlines, write, seek, tell, and close. Let's explore how to open files in Python. Here on the left are the file access modes. R is for read, which is the default mode. W is for write, which truncates the file if it exists. A is for append, which adds content to the end of the file. B is for binary mode, used for non-text files. And plus is for update mode, allowing both reading and writing. On the right, there is a standard way to open a file. You can use the open function with the file name and mode. The recommended way is using a context manager, where the with keyword ensures the file is properly closed after operations. Within the with block, you can perform file operations, and the file will close automatically when the block is exited. Here we will focus on reading files using the read method. On the left, the code demonstrates how to use the read method. When you open a file in read mode, you can read the entire file content into a string using file.read. You can also read a specific number of bytes by passing a size argument to read. To reset the file position, you can use the seek method. The tell method gives the current file position. On the right, there are key points. The read method returns the entire file content as a string. Read with a size argument returns up to that many bytes. It reads from the current position to the end of the file, and returns an empty string when it reaches the end of the file. For large files, it's better to read in chunks to manage memory efficiently. Let us see the readline and readlines methods in action. On the left, you can see how to use the readline method. It reads one line at a time from the file. You can also loop through the file object directly to read all lines. Use seek 0 to reset the file position to the beginning. On the right, we have readlines, which reads all lines into a list. Each element in the list is a string with a new line character at the end. You can process this list to remove the new lines or perform other operations on each line. Here we're going to discuss how to manipulate the file position using the seek and tell methods. On the left, the code shows how to use the tell method to get the current file position. Initially, it's at 0. After reading some content, the tell method will return the new position. The seek method is used to move to a specific position in the file. On the right, the seek method takes two parameters, offset and whence. Offset is the number of bytes to move, and whence determines the reference point. Whence 0 indicates the start of the file, 1 indicates the current position, and 2 indicates the end of the file. For example, file.seek -5, 2 moves 5 bytes before the end of the file. This slide covers how to write to files using the write and writelines methods. On the left, the write method is used to write a string to a file. The file is opened in write mode, which creates or truncates the file. The write method returns the number of bytes written. On the right, the writelines method is used to write multiple lines from a list to a file. The file is opened in append mode, which adds to the end of the file. Each string in the list represents a line to be written. Let us find out how to work with binary files in Python. On the left, the code shows how to read a binary file, such as an image, using the RB mode. The data is read as a bytes object. Similarly, you can write to a binary file using the WB mode. On the right, there are some important points to remember when working with binary files. Use RB, WB, and up for binary mode. Data is stored as bytes objects, not strings. No encoding or decoding of text is performed, and there's no automatic new line conversion. Binary mode is necessary for non-text files like images, audio files, PDF documents, or any data containing null bytes. In this video, we will see how to properly close files and why it's important. On the left, the old way of manually closing files is shown. You need to use a try finally block to ensure the file is closed, even if exceptions occur. The modern way is using a context manager with the with keyword. This ensures the file is automatically closed after the block. On the right, it is shown why closing files is critical. It prevents resource leaks, ensures data is saved, and allows other processes to access the file. Using the with statement guarantees that the close method closes the file explicitly. It also handles exceptions, making the code cleaner and less error-prone. Now, we are going to see how to handle errors that may occur during file operations. On the left, the code demonstrates how to use try-except blocks to handle different types of file errors. Specific exceptions like FileNotFoundError, PermissionError, and IO error can be caught and handled. On the right, there's a list of common file exceptions that may occur. Always use try-except when working with files from user input or network sources to handle potential errors gracefully. Finally, let's go over some best practices for file handling in Python. Always use context managers with the with statement to ensure proper file closing. Handle exceptions using try-except blocks to gracefully handle errors. When processing large files, read them in chunks to avoid loading the entire file into memory. If not using with, always call the close method in a finally block. Use appropriate modes like R, W, A, and B for your specific needs, and always specify encoding for text files, such as UTF-8. If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.